Finished doing the off-camera stuff. This is a Vallejo German gray. It's a model air. So I masked that off and sprayed that on both sides, and I also finished dry brushing this little back panel piece here, and then I went in with the aged white with a little brown in it, thinned it down, and then sprayed lightly over here to kind of discolor a little bit because my reference shows it's a little bit of a different color. So I've got everything set and ready to start doing some weathering. So let me get the stuff together and I'll be back. There are spots on these stabilizers that look like a brighter color, kind of a yellowish, but they look like they're kind of sun faded or something. There's some areas in here and then some over in here and other various spots on them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with some model color sand yellow. Since this is a model color, it's not thinned, so I'm thinning it 1:1 with water. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a small brush here, and I'm just going to get this whole area wet. And then I'm going to take some of my yellow and I'm just going to dab it to try to build up an area here that's a little lighter yellow. And hopefully when it dries it'll kind of give me a splotchy, sun faded kind of effect. May not be able to see it too much on camera because it's really light. And I'm just kind of dabbing it or stippling it, and with the water on there it makes it bleed, so it does give it kind of a patchy look. So I'm going to work on this, and then when it dries I'll come back and show you the final look. I got the two sides done here. I still have to do the reverse sides. But what I wound up doing is, taking my brush like I did and dabbing it on there. And then what I did is I would take a Q-tip and then just start dabbing it and moving it around, and that actually went a whole lot faster. So I'm going to finish doing this color on the other sides of these, and then I'll come back and we'll do another part of the weathering. I've taken a Vallejo umber wash here, and I've gone in and hit these dark spots in here. This is where the little pistons go, and then of course the arm that goes to the main ship. So, and I've hit some of the smaller spots, kind of darken these areas up a little bit. I will hit them with some more later on, but I'm just kind of building contrasts up to kind of separate light from dark. I also did some here in this little vent looking thing. So the next step is I'm going to start doing some pastels. Okay, I got a little brush here, and I do have a Q-tip. So I'm going to take just some cheapy pastels. I'm going to start layering on some faded, like exhaust marks, burn marks, stuff like that. So I just take the brush and I run it over the pastel, because I'm going to do this and slowly building it up. And it doesn't really take a whole lot. Some of the gray. So it's really hard to see. on camera, but it is slowly building it up. So I'm going to work more on that, and then I'll come back when I get one of these done. I think I've got the pastels where I want them. You just get a little on there like I showed before, and just some of these areas just get in there and just kind of twirl it around. This is going to be where the joints move and stuff. So I need to seal this because it is pastel, and then I'm going to come back in and probably do a little bit more wash in these areas, because this is a moving part, so it's going to be grease and there's going to be scratches and stuff around it. So let me seal this, let that dry, and then I'll come back and show you that. Doing a light wash on these two parts here. This is one I've done and this is one I haven't, so let me show you how I did this one. Washes are easy, but the first thing I did was I get some water on it, and then I take the wash and then just start putting it in where the water's pooled and just kind of move it around. And you can do it strong or you can do it light. I have a tendency to like to want to do light parts, because see, when you get it on like a real thick, then it just makes more you have to pull off. We get some all on this stem here. And the cool thing about being Star Wars models, it's really hard to mess up the weathering. I mean, obviously you can go too far, but if you just kind of keep an eye on what you're doing, which is why you want to do it lighter at first, because it's harder to go backwards. And you're just trying to separate out some of the detail. That's all you're trying to do. And like I said, I am using a reference of the studio model, so it gives me an idea where I need to be darker, where I need to be lighter. And most of this is in shadow, so, but you're just trying to achieve that dirty look. So I'll finish this one up and then I'll come back. Here they are, all done with the wash. They're still a little wet, so I need to let it dry, and then I can go over and hit some more spots with the pastels to kind of deepen some cracks. There's some spots around here that are a little darker and have a fade to it, so I want to do that. And then there's some more darker spots around this little joint right here, so I'll let those dry and I'll come back to do that. Got to a stopping point on these stabilizers. These look they look pretty good. I'm happy with them. I did a little test fit to put them on here to make sure everything's fitting and everything's the way it's supposed to be. So I like the detail. Looks like what I wanted it to, and it's pretty close to the reference. I still have the little hydraulic things to go in there. But yeah, I like them. So that's going to do it for part 4. Part 5, I'm going to start working on the bottom parts here. So I want to thank you guys for watching, and thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you guys for part 5.